Hey guys, this is Vol. Sorry, it's been quite a while since I posted anything on my YouTube page. What I've actually done is I've recently moved to a new house, living in a flatting situation. I did play in a Warhammer Fantasy Battle tournament for 8th edition. It was my first tournament for 8th, but I didn't bring my camera along for that one, so you guys won't get to find out what happened in detail. I came 9th overall out of about 40 people, and I played a Warriors of Chaos list. The little battle I'm just going to show you right now is weeks and weeks and weeks old. In fact, I think it was played a couple of months ago. And it was between myself and a guy that I'm currently living with now, but this was the last game I played back at my old apartment. Skaven versus Warriors of Chaos. He's borrowing my miniatures and testing out a list that he created. I must say that when I actually entered the tournament, I did not end up using a similar list to what he was using here with his Warriors of Chaos army. A couple of units of Chaos Knights, typically frenzied. He had a big unit of Marauders with great weapons and some Chaos Warriors with halberds and so on. You've got my typical Skaven list. This is a bit of a fluffy list, really. Apart from the Power Scroll and the Grey Seer, it's really not optimized. I think the best Skaven lists these days have a Plague Furnace, Help at Abomination. They've got a Grey Seer on foot. That sort of thing. Big blocks of slaves ranked, sort of filed 5 wide and ranked, as many ranks deep as they can possibly get on the board. But anyway, just having a quick skim through this game so I can just let you know what happened. It was a bit of a shootout, really, with magic missiles for a little while, as far as I can remember. I did a lot of damage to him with my magic artillery in the form of the Warp Lightning Cannon and Plague Claw Catapult. But really, the plan was to get his guys whittled down enough so that I could actually destroy him with the dreaded 13th spell. Carrying on through the photos, there was actually a fight involving the building, where I had some guys, some gutter runners in the building, but he hosed them out pretty quickly with his Chaos Knights, if I recall correctly. As you can see here, we've got the Chaos Sorcerer with the Flaming Lasso. Quite love that model. I don't really take him anymore, though, because with the Lookout Sir changes in the current edition, you have to really put him with cavalry, and you don't want to take cavalry too much. In this list, he's got a block of 10 Marauder Horsemen. I tried them out for a little while with the Vanguard movement and just a mobile platform to add my Sorcerer to, but they weren't really worth the point, so I swapped them for other things later on down the track. Next picture, you can see the artillery there in the forest. Luckily, the forest wasn't particularly menacing forest in terms of the special rules there. I've got a group of clan rats out in front, ready to shoot the Doom Rocket over at his big block of Marauders, and some Plague Monks behind them just to eventually do some fighting with that Plague Banner. Next photo, I've chucked my Censer Bearers right in front of his Knights. Really wasn't a very good move, because Knights having higher initiative than Plague Censer Bearers, the Censer Bearers really got thrashed. Censer Bearers just aren't that good anymore due to only having initiative 3. It's still generating those toughness tests, but you want them to fight first and get all their attacks off with Hatred and Frenzy for them to be effective, so unfortunately they aren't a really good component of a strong Skaven list anymore. My Doom Wheel managed to misfire and go off the board like in a random direction movement rather than shooting up the Knights, so that really set me back, and in the background there I've got a big group of slaves going in there trying to direct the chariot away from my main forces. Next image, the Red Ogres are out there in front of the Marauder Horsemen, and I've got this big block of giant rats ready to tackle his big unit of Marauders there. Those great weapons and Frenzy are going to be a problem, but if I can get Death Frenzy on my own rats, I should be able to inflict a lot of casualties and really whittle down that unit big time. Next photo, you've got my Grey Seer looking to try and line up a spell there with his dreaded 13th, the Warpfire Thrower, trying to get in range, but still a little bit far off for the meantime. And next, I've managed to kill some of his Chaos Knights thanks to shooting with my Warp Lightning Cannon and so forth, but he does get them in combat, especially with the Juggernaut there, against the, whatchamacallits, the Plague Censer Bearers, and predictably wipes them out. Over there in the background, the Slaves against the Chaos Warriors and Chariot, really only holding them up for a turn or two before they're all wiped out, just given his huge number of frenzied attacks, and the Slaves generally doing nothing at all. Next image, his Marauder Cavalry beating up the Red Ogres, or at least trying to. A bit of a fight going on there, but the Red Ogres have already taken some damage due to lucky javelin shots. I've taken some damage already on my actually no, those coins that you see at the bottom left of the photo here are actually there to mark a comet, which he's trying to land, a comet of Cassandra on my War Machines. He's basically taken a page out of my book and used Law of Heavens, which I think is quite a good lore for Warriors of Chaos. Comet of Cassandra is fantastic, and obviously Harmonic Convergence, Curse of the Midnight Wind, even Ice-Eyed Blizzard. Just such handy combat spells to really swing things in your favor. Even against, your opponent drawing you into bad positions, unfavorable combats, shooting lots of light shooting at you, those spells really help out immensely. In this next picture, we've got a big combat between the Marauders and the Giant Rats. So what's happened here is he's actually reformed his Marauders into a 5-wide unit because he's taken so much damage, I think, from a Doom Rocket and Scorch and so forth. But quite a cool little photo. There's lots of light streaming into the battlefield, and the Rats really going at it with Death Frenzy casting them as well. So that's quite entertaining. The Doom Wheel coming back on the board and electrocuting the Juggernaut guy, I believe. Can't remember whether I misfired again. The game happened so long ago, I'm commentating on it a bit late. But as you can see in the background, the slaves just getting obliterated down to about 12 guys from 40, just from the massive number of attacks he's got. Over here, we've got a bit more of a complicated photo going on. Sorry about the lighting, but this is a combat involving 3 Chaos Knights and a unit of Giant Rats, Plague Monks, there's the Marauders, and I've actually managed to use the Dread of 13th spell to turn his Chaos Warriors into Clan Rats and charge them in from the rear as well. So that's what's going on here. I know you guys can't see a thing, but it's a multi-combat which actually went his way because the Knights just refused to take any damage from me at all, and I kept losing combat due to the massive number of wounds he's inflicting, and I just wasn't inflicting any back. Next picture, you've got the Doom Wheel against the Chariot in the bottom left corner. The Grey Seer has been destroyed, I believe, due to miscasting so badly. All of those coins in that bottle cap next to him is another comet coming down right next to him. And my opponent has some characters and units just straggling in the middle of the field. A lot of my guys have run away or died already. And in the next photo, you see a bit of a clearer view of what's going on here. He's actually got his Chaos Warriors involved in this combat now. I think he's only got 1 Marauder left, and really killing a lot of guys here. And even though I had him surrounded on all sides, he actually managed to break me here, winning the combat and getting rid of me because I just wasn't doing any damage. His guys were so tough, and my guys were getting clobbered. Quite like the picture, though, with all the lighting now. You can actually see a bit more detail. And next photo, the comets come down. I've just taken tons of damage here. The Doom Wheel's still alive, but all of the guys pushing it are dead. The Battle Standard Bearers is just attached to the Screaming Bell. I think I keep swapping the name around. Doom Bell, Screaming Wheel. You guys know what it's like listening to Vol, getting things mixed up all the time. Running away with just like 5 or 6 rats and 1 Pack Master. His guys are severely depleted as well. I've wiped out all his Marauders. I only need to kill 2 more Chaos Warriors to get the points for that unit. He's got a few Knights left as well. And a Marauder Cavalry running away at the back of the field as well. And that's essentially it. The game, with the points added up, turned out to be a draw. A bit of a fun one. Thought I'd eventually get around to doing this report just because I wanted to give you guys an idea of what's been going on with my Chaos lately and what it was like at the tournament. Just a quick rundown on the tournament. I did extremely well. I ran into 2 Tomb Kings players first and second round, so it was quite easy matchup in 8th Warriors versus Tomb Kings. And I won my first 2 games by landslides. Then a fairly good Dark Elf player managed to stop me, beating me 16-4. The round 1 of the second day, I was up against big rival Ryan, who I seemed to run into every tournament, and he unfortunately conceded the game partway through. I thought that he did have a chance to win, but he wasn't really enjoying himself, so put me back on the back of the tables for the last 2 rounds. The final 2 rounds, I actually got beaten by the guys who came first and second, so I did have an opportunity to place very well at the tournament, but choked at the last minute, and unfortunately some better players managed to defeat me. But a good time. Hopefully I'll remember the camera for the next tournament, which is coming up in a couple of weeks' time. I'll be taking a similar Warriors of Chaos list, and I will try to let you guys know how I go. See you later.